So this is just helping people who are still making a Mindomo map for the sustainability tourism project. So remember, in order to access Mindomo, you do need to go through our Brightspace classroom. So the icon is right there and you can log in. If you have a map that you've already been working on, it should be under the maps that you've made and you can click on it. However, if you're starting from scratch or you'd like to redo your map a little bit, we're going to use today the instruction sheet that I've created to help you guys out. Okay, so oops, we're going to go to, sorry, 1 second. To our instruction sheet for a moment. And here's the instruction sheet with lots of help and examples for you. So I won't read the instructions. I'm just going to walk through some of the steps that are a little bit more complicated to help you out if you want a visual example. So if you are creating the mind map using the template I've done for you, just a reminder, the highest mark you're going to get is 7.5 out of 10. That's still a good mark, but it's just being fair to the students who have created their mind map from scratch. You know, giving them a little bit of extra credit for that, but it's still a great mark. So I recommend, if you're struggling, use the template. That's why I've created it for you at this point. Okay, so I'm going to take this and go into our template. So here's the template, and you'll see it has a definition of sustainable tourism, which is awesome. It has a legend kind of in terms of letting us know that purple is going to be our tourist actions, green's our company actions, and blue is our government actions. And again, color coordinating things is really important in a mind map, or else there's no point to doing it. We want to see connections across different locations, okay? So over here, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to make a copy of this so I can edit it. So you're going to go to here, make a copy, and you're going to add your name. So let's pretend that my name is, Malik, okay? So my first name was Malik, I'd put Malik, done, and then there's my map, and it should open up. You'll see your own name up there, and that way you can edit it. You should be able to just click right into it. So the first thing I recommend doing is typing in the name of the location that you've decided to do from your articles or your video. A lot of students did the Disneyland Paris article, so I'm using that as an example. I'm going to put in brackets France. That's the location. So I have the attraction name and the country name. Notice I'm using capitals for proper nouns. That does count as part of your communication mark. So if you make a mistake, you can double click and just use your arrow key to change that, okay? Once I'm in here, I'm going to look at the notes that I've created for my article or my note taking from videos, and I'm going to look for anything that was a positive impact. Is this something good that came out of the attraction or the tourism? So in my notes, I noticed that it says that it created tens of thousands of jobs for the French economy. Okay, so when they built Disneyland Paris, we know that it created jobs. That's a positive impact. It's making money. Well, people are making money from it. So I put that there. Now, if I want to add something, if I want to add another point to this, all I have to do is just click enter. And it's already set up for you. So it'll still be part of positive impacts, and I can create another bullet point that's related to positive impacts from Disneyland Paris, okay? If I want to create a third point, you'll notice it doesn't work if I do enter here. I have to go back to the original and then put it there. If you want to switch things around, because you're like, oh, I want this point to be under this point, it's really easy to do that. You just move it with your mouse, and it literally will move up and down in whatever direction you want, okay? So at this point, I have here, let's say I did something else, I can say you know, Europeans are now closer to their own Disney theme park, no longer have to travel to North America. Period. This tourist choice may cut back on greenhouse emissions from flights. What this means is the article talks about that before Disneyland Paris was created, we know that if people wanted any Disney experience, the only two Disney theme parks were in North America, California and Florida. So now that there's one in Europe, it means a whole bunch of countries in Europe now can choose to go to Disneyland Paris, which is much shorter. They can take a train, they don't have to fly, and they can have a similar experience, take their kids to Disney. And that really cuts back on how much greenhouse gas they're using from flights. So this is a sustainability thing. It gives them more choice to be a responsible tourist, a sustainable tourist. And because this is an action that's done by a tourist, and look at my color choices, this is a tourist action, because they have to choose if they're going to go to the theme park. They can still choose to go to the Florida one, which does have more attractions in some way. So I'm not saying that it's the worst idea ever. Double click on this, and if you want to make the font, the letter, different color, you just click here and you'll see the letter A, and then I'm going to change it to purple. Okay, why am I changing it to purple? I'm going to also make it bold so I can see it a little bit more clearly. And why am I changing it to purple? Because this is a tourist action that they have to decide as a tourist to be more sustainable. This here is not a tourist action. The tourist is not creating jobs per se. This was a decision that the company did. Disneyland Paris chose to build in France, and that created jobs for the French people. So that was a company decision to build in France. Okay, so that's how I chose these two colors. Yep, so that's that. Let's go back to our original assignment for a second. So at this point, I have done all of these steps here. If you're following the written instructions. Oh, a reminder about the undo button. So if you haven't yet noticed, you can undo things. So let's say you make a mistake. Let's say I move something here and all of a sudden, oh, what the heck happened? Why is this connected here? Don't panic. Just click the undo button, and this can go back quite a lot actually if you make a mistake a while ago, and you can also redo and go forward again. Okay, so there's no need to panic. So at this point, if I want to do negative impacts, okay, I would go to negative impacts for Disney, and it's the same thing. I'm going to write whatever was negative here. So in this case, maybe about the farmers got relocated off of their land, right? We know that Disney built right on the farmland and the farmers lost their jobs and their land. That could be a negative impact. I could write that here. Oops, was built over. Okay. And this is a negative thing that was done. Even though it's a negative action, I'm still, because it's under the negative part, I'm still going to choose who's responsible for this action, right? So who's responsible? Well, it's both government and the company, but mostly it would be actually the government's decision to sell the land to Disney, right? It was their decision to say that they thought that that amusement park was more important than the farmers. So it was a government choice to allow it. I'm going to put that there as a government action. Bold that. There we go. And it's under negative impacts. So now when I look at my mind map, these are things that were positive for sustainability. These are negative impacts. Okay. All right. Lastly, and again, a reminder about the colors is here. Okay, when you are done your all the text stuff, so again, you would type in your attraction, the other attraction. This could be from a second article that you read. It could be from a video that we've seen in class. It could be from a video that you did from your own note-taking, but you want to have at least minimum of 2 locations, okay? And you would do the same thing over here. When you're done, you want to add some photos. Now, I think the best place to add a photo is right where the attraction is, because it kind of helps anchor your chart. I'm going to put the arrow here. And then if you want to add a photo, you're just going to go to here and say photo. But before you do that, you need to actually grab the photo of your choice. So if I'm doing Disneyland Paris, for example, I'm going to go to Google, look up images. Now, some students just take the first picture that they see. I recommend you think about what is it you're trying to show about Disney. And in this case, I'm trying to show that it's created a lot of jobs. So I want to show something where there's lots of people and tourism happening. So I'm just going to take a quick look. This looks like a cool picture too. So I like this picture. It has the sunset. That looks really appealing. It also has lots of people walking. There's our castle, which looks similar to Florida. So a great example of how people don't have to necessarily travel all the way to North America anymore. You can either save it right onto your desktop, or if you want to be really lazy, you can just copy the image address, but this requires a mouse. You have to right click the mouse, copy image address, and then you go right into here. You can either take it from your computer or type in the image address, and boom, there's my Disneyland Paris. If I want to see the picture bigger, I can just click on it and it shows me where it came from, which is kind of nice. Oops, what happened here? Okay. There we go, wrong tourism. There we go. So there's my map, and you guys can see. So hopefully that helps you out. The very last step I do when I'm finished all of my mind map is I'm going to make sure I capitalize the first letter of every bullet point, because that makes it more professional. If I added periods, I'm going to make sure I'm consistent with that. So I did add a period here. I'm going to see, is this a full sentence? Yes, it is. I can double click and add a period. Those little details do help your communication mark a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add a period there. Excellent, that looks very professional. Okay, I'm not going to link these boxes because they're not really part of the mind map. They're more just giving indication to the reader what the colors stand for. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'd have something like that. If you don't want to have a particular subtopic showing anymore, you can always delete it by going here and then just clicking delete. If you changed your mind, you can undo, but I didn't have an extra point here, so again, I can just go right to these dots here, delete. Okay, if I want to make more points, remember, press enter, and you have to go back to the original box to do that. Okay, hopefully this helps you out, and if you have any questions about your mind map, please ask. The last step is sharing your mind map. So to share your mind map, you're going to click share. You're going to go to change your privacy settings. You're going to say anyone with the link can view. Anyone with the link can view. You're going to set save. You're going to take that link, copy it, and then you're going to go into our Google Classroom. Under our assignment, Sustainability Tourism Mind Map. Okay. Let's say I'm Aaliyah for a second. Okay, and oops, sorry. And then you're just going to click that right on the private comment, and you're just going to paste your mind map link there and press enter. So once it press enter, post, and then I can have the link. Okay. So thank you so much. I hope that helps. And